Welcome back to the Opinion Box. My name is Levi Kones. We are here with the Honorable Cynthia Muge. She is the woman rep for Nandi County. We're talking all matters to do with Parliament and expectations. One of the things that has been a hot topic this week, Mheshimiwa, is the issue by our counterpart at BBC that has been brought up on their expose. I know you have spoken about it in Parliament today, but I just need to ask you, what did you feel when you saw it? And to what extent do you think we should do something about it?
Wow, Levi, I thought it would be evening and I wouldn't need to hear it again, at least before any action is taken. One, whatever happened or whatever is happening in these companies, and I can tell you this, Levi, that it's not only happening in Kericho, in the multinationals alone, it's happening everywhere. In fact, when the issue came up, and they mentioned the multinationals having been really localized in Nandi County, I was so shocked and scared before I watched it, and I heard that it was Kericho. I thought, and I was so sure that it was in Nandi County, because we also have these.
You have a number too, yes?
Yeah, we have quite a number, a very good number, that has actually been giving us a bit of problems in terms of CSR to the people and actually doing what they need to be doing in terms of remitting taxes to the county and all that. There's a whole lot of issues. Of course, aside from that, whatever happened in Kericho, the multinationals in Kericho, and like it's happening in every other organization that is that has employees and leaders and managers and whatever they call themselves. Yeah. I want to say that to be specific to the expose by BBC, the Africa Eye, those perpetrators are actually perverts, just to say the least. They do not even deserve any kind of hearing. Were it not for the fact that everyone
is entitled
to hearing and all that, and fair trial and all that. Otherwise, they don't deserve any, because that is inhuman, to say the least, Levi. When I saw, I think I took more than 5 breaks while watching that particular video. Why not for the fact that I have a responsibility to be aware and to know the exact details of whatever is happening, for me to be able to now come out as one of the leaders to provide a solution to this particular issue, and actually ensure that the perpetrators are actually brought to book, and to ensure that the victims get justice. Were it not for that, Levi, I wouldn't have watched that thing. It's so hurting. You see, the sexual part of it, it's not just something that happens, Levi. It's something deeper. So when you find that someone treats it like it's something transactional, like it just, we meet and then it just happens, and you know, I don't know how to, I don't have the words to describe the situation, but I want to say that it is really sad. The details of whatever happened are horrifying, to say the least, and it should be dealt with and accorded the seriousness it deserves. And I want to say that just like we said it in Parliament when the statement came up to the Ministry of Labour, the CS, who to now has not responded or said anything in regards to the same, it was so hurting. But you know what is more interesting, Levi, is that the sexual assault thing is still being treated as a women issue. Do you know that most of the statements that were sought on that floor of the House, and even the petitions and all that, had male counterparts commenting, but none, Levi, mark my words, none commented on this particular one. I don't know what that says about them, but I feel like this is a collective responsibility, because it's happening right under our noses. It's happening in our offices, it's happening in our institutions, it's happening in the corporate world, it's happening everywhere. It's even happening in the mines and in the kazi ya mjengo. You know, before you were given a job for the day for you to earn 500 shillings, it's clearly what's happening. The supervisor or the groundsman, the supervisor, the foreman will tell you, nishughulikie. Just like those perpetrators were saying. It's rampant.
You know, many companies have a zero tolerance policy to sexual offenses, and we have a very pretty strong Sexual Offences Act. But the question really is, do you feel like we are missing out on either the education towards sexual offenses or the enforcement when things go wrong? Where is the disconnect?
Like you rightly put.
Because you have a lot of issues also with defilement, things like that.
Yeah, that are not resorted
rape.
and resolved. Like you say, rightly put it, and I have said it time and again that this country has no shortage of policy. It has no shortage of laws. It actually has a problem with the implementation. But you see, Levy, it puts you in a very awkward situation. You see the manager, whoever his position was, who controls over 800 employees, is the one who reads out the zero tolerance to sexual harassment in the company, and then goes ahead and actually commits, you know, I don't know how to put it, Levy. It's not just wrong, but I think we missed it. We missed the point at the point of the implementation and the leadership and the consequences that follow if you actually found guilty or if you are actually found doing the same thing. But again, Levy, it also tells you something about the desperation level of our people. Yeah. Because you find that there were women who were crying while narrating how they don't know how their husbands would feel, and then there was a point where they're saying, I don't know how I didn't know how my kids would survive, and that's why I had to do this. But you see, Levy, the question is again, now you have this HIV, AIDS, or whatever infection that is going to ultimately affect your life. It's not going to be normal anymore. What happens to these kids if you die from them? Now, it now brings us to the other factor that you mentioned about education. It looks like our people are not empowered and are not bold enough to say and to speak out, like speak about them, say no to them, like face it boldly. And I think it's a collective responsibility, Levy, where the person who is seeking the job, who really and badly needs the job, should know that they have an opportunity and they have a right to access that job without actually being harassed in any way. And again, it should be known to the people in leadership who are actually bestowed with the responsibility of being the leaders to know that they actually owe the service to the people who are seeking the jobs with nothing in return. The return should be the job to be done so well. So I think, Levy, we need, as a society, we have lost it. It's actually about the morals in the society.
And we have to bring the conversation at home. Can you imagine, as a wife, not being able to tell your husband?
Imagine.
That you're being sexually harassed.
Can you imagine? In
the workplace. So you just go along with it because you need to put something on the table. It also means that the conversation is not possible to be had.
Sure. Yeah, that's what it means. And again, you see, the perpetrators also, Levy, if you're to follow, and any other setup, of course, they have families. These are people who have children, the age of those girls that they're harassing and asking them for sexual favors in return. They have wives who have no idea that their husbands are actually capable of doing such things. So that tells you that as a family unit, there is also lack of understanding. Like, you don't even know what your husband or your wife or your children are capable of, because these are wives, these are husbands, and these are children of a certain family. So we said, I think it all boils down to the moral fabric altogether. We have lost it in its entirety, because previously, you know, even in my culture, of course, where we come from, there is a certain age set, especially the age set of your dad. That's not an age set to meddle with. If someone is the age set of your dad and beyond, those are people you will not, you can't even greet them with a hand. If you, because right now I think it's been the customs have a bit not very strict lately. You can say hi to them with a hand, but previously we'll just bow down and then they touch your head and that is it. So you would be able to talk to now the age mates and the age set of your husband. You know, it was strictly that. And of course, the sexual act is not something that comes up for discussion back then, when the morals were just that strict. But right now, you see, things are just happening. You find these things that people call sponsor, and you know, these are old men. And you find that a 60-something-year-old is actually going out with a 20-year-old who is not even the age of their daughters. It is the age of their granddaughters, you see. And we are making it look like normal in the society. I think that is where we failed, Levy. So that you find this perpetrator has no shame in asking a small girl for that kind of favor. You find this perpetrator not holding their marriage and their union and their family in the high regard that they used to hold it. That they can go out there and ask a random person that nikupatie hii na nikupatie ile alafu nipatie hii, you know. And it also tells us about now the other party, because you see, it takes two to tango. To be honest. So I think we need to look at our morals, the moral fabric, and number two, for purposes of the children who cannot consent, and the thing that they call desperation, we should also ensure that we have serious measures in terms of any person who is found actually guilty should be punished and punished properly.
Yeah.
A punishment that everyone would remember. Like, I do not want to suffer the fate that so and so suffered. So it's about time as a country and as a leadership.
Iwe funzo.
Iwe funzo kwa wengine. So it's about time as a country and as a leadership, especially right now in light of whatever is happening, that we follow this particular issue to conclusion. You know, the problem with also us and Kenyans generally is something comes, we hype it, and then in 2-3 weeks, it dies, and then there's no solution, and then the status quo remains. It's about time that we got out of the comfort zone, our comfort zones, and follow these particular issues to the tail end, to conclusion. We ensure that this person is found guilty and punished, or if they're not guilty, of course, whatever happens, happens, but we must be able to have a tangible result, a tangible punishment, outcome, for whatever happens, so that we're able to move on as a country.
You and your colleagues read a statement in Parliament today.
Yeah.
In a nutshell, what are you asking for at this point in time?
Yeah, number one, in the statement we are asking for that the perpetrators are brought to book and an extensive investigation is done, because whatever we saw is the tip of the iceberg. There is a whole road down here. So that is, actually, basically, those are the two things that we're asking for. But now going forward, this tells you that the no sexual harassment policy and many other policies are not being implemented, and they're not being followed to the latter by any of these organizations. So that also calls for us to be able to follow on the implementation of these issues, and we should be able to have some team that is actually doing some M&D to ensure and to see that is this happening or not, and be able to sensitize our people to do a lot of civic education, Levy, because you see, those women who have actually been sexually exploited feel like they do not have any other person to stand with them and by them and for them.
Yeah.
They actually feel that the only solution they have is to give in to those advances. It should be known to every other person that they deserve to be treated with dignity, and they deserve to be given an opportunity on a merited platform. Like, they should be merit. It's not about, because you see, Levy, as much as we want to wish this away and say that it's a women issue, the person who actually gave in to that sexual advances denied a man who could not offer the same favor and deserve the job on merit. So you have the papers, you have the qualification, you have the ability, but because you could not offer the stupid sexual whatever, you don't get the job.
Kicked out, yeah.
So the society should know it's a seesaw. It cuts mbele na nyuma. Yeah. So if this whoever is has the responsibility or has the power uses this to give the other person an opportunity, it is the same thing that is denying you an opportunity that you deserve on merit. So it should be dealt with everyone, so that we are all brought to the same platform. We are given equal opportunity at the same time with the same kind of conditions, so that you're not disadvantaged as a man, and the women also are not disadvantaged by the fact that you have to give in to sexual advances for you to get a job.
Yeah, we only have 5 minutes. What's on your agenda, on your plate, as you running through this term right now?
Thank you, Levy. In regards to, you see, every office comes with its responsibility, just like when you hire a chief, you know what the responsibility is. So the same way, when we were elected, or when I was elected as a woman rep, I have my responsibilities also, especially in Parliament, that is to ensure that I'm able to be present, do my representation role, speak on behalf of my people. I'm able to do oversight, be able to look at the implementation of projects that will benefit the people, and those kind of things, and of course be able to do policies and legislations that are able to help our people. We have so many policy gaps, and we at times have conflicting provisions in other policies. So we need to be able, that's my responsibility, to be able to look at them and ensure that whatever is stated in whatever policy and whatever act is actually beneficial to my people and is actually protecting my people. That is my role, number one. Then number two, Levy, we have this National Government Affirmative Action Fund, the name GAF as it's popularly known. Many people don't know the responsibilities of a woman rep many a times. But that NGAF has responsibilities. NGAF has the ability of giving scholarships, has the ability of giving bursaries to people. It also has money for empowerment. It's called Women Economic Empowerment. As much as it's called Women Economic Empowerment, the youth and person with disabilities, who also happen to be, others are female, others are male, are also able to benefit from the Women Economic Empowerment Fund. There's also another activity which is it's majorly called the county-wide project. The county-wide project is where you find levy. We are doing things like in my county, there's a rehabilitation center. You know, we must admit also that we have a problem with substance abuse.
Oh, big time.
It's a menace. It's actually a problem nowadays. It's a huge problem, and we almost topped in the list of the counties that are actually high on abuse of substance abuse and all those kind of things. And then I think those are the 3 programs that we're able to run as a county of the woman rep. I want to say this, Levy, in this first disbursement that we had, we were able to go through, of course, with the committee and the NGAF coordinator, we were able to go through the kids who did class 8 last year. We went around the county, we asked for applications and they applied, and we offered scholarships, Levy. This time round we did not do bursaries for reasons best known to us, and because that's a promise I had made during the campaigns, that I'd rather we give one person or one child a full scholarship to go to whatever school they have been admitted to and school for 4 years without interruption, other than giving everyone 2,000 shillings, and then the next week all the children are home and we're looking at each other in the eye, wondering where do we get the money. So I'm happy to report that the committee was able to do a good job. We were able to sponsor 205 students in Nandi County for 4 years. Those are on the full scholarship of NGAF. So we will be paying their school fees for the next 4 years, and it's been a very good thing for the people who really needed it and the people who are really needy. It's been a very good project, and we are hoping that we can be able to recruit more going forward. Other than that, Levy, we also still have money that is for bursaries for colleges and universities and TVETs and all that. So we will be rolling that out in the next month. Secondly, we also have money for the Women Economic Empowerment. Right now we are calling for applications for people to be able to apply for those funds. The groups that are supposed to apply for those monies. So you do your application. This is a very good office, and the patron, which is me, Levy, we are making many of the things very accessible. So you don't need to come to my office for you to pick the form. You just go online. There's a link provided. You can download the form. You fill the form, and then you can drop it to the office for the committee to be able to go through. Do not worry about the 100 women in a group that are supposed to be in a group for you to benefit. We have been able to work around that. So if you have 20 members in a group, just apply. We are going to do some sort of an MOU and mother one of the groups so that you are able to receive the money through the mother group, and then we can be able to share amongst the other groups for everyone to benefit.
That's very clever.
Yeah, you have to find a way of working things, because my people deserve services from me. So the other one is for youth. You only have to be 20 members. Just write a proposal, let it come to the office. The committee will go through it, and you'll get the funding. There's money, and you see the beauty with this money levy is it's in the account. You don't apply and then you wait. It's actually in the account. If you meet all the qualifications of the threshold, you'll be able to benefit. And lastly, we are really working on ensuring that we operationalize the rehabilitation center to ensure that we have a place for any person who is willing and has accepted that they have a problem with the substance abuse. So it's going to be complete. Right now we are doing the perimeter walling for it, because it cannot be operationalized without the perimeter wall. So that is underway. So we will be working on that promptly so that we have it operational. Of course, with partnerships from the county and the ministry as well. For some of the things like equipping, the ministry has partnered with us to be able to operationalize, to equip, and then the county government is also partnering with us together with other agencies to be able to actually provide personnel for them to be able to do that job. So Levy, that is, and of course we are actually going to ensure that we are doing mentorship for the children, especially those that we're sponsoring, and actually generally across the schools in Nandi County. It's something that I take personal, and I want to ensure that I go by the end of 5 years, Levy, I can tell you, I'll have gone to each and every of these schools and developed a very concrete program for purposes of visiting them and ensuring that they are actually not really empowered, but they are mentored, a mentorship program for them, so that we behave like Equity. Equity has a very good program, and that's why they get a very good positive output at the end of the time, because they actually follow their students and mentor them and ensure that they're doing well, so that we also have value for money. You know, there's no point, Levy, in paying school fees for someone, and at the end of the 4 years, they get an E and get a D. It's so embarrassing. So we are going to ensure that we have a better transition rate to very good courses from those that we have sponsored and all that. And also to ensure that we are doing civic education, Levy. There's a lot of problems that are happening. There are people who don't know what they deserve. There are people who don't know what their rights are, either in the family, either the children, either the women. Like, there's a lot of things happening. So we're going to ensure that as an office, we are running with that and we are working on that, so that all the women, all the youth, all the persons with disabilities and the community at large is able to benefit from leadership that they actually voted for and trusted. So I am trying my very best to be able to do that.
That's a lot of juggling you have to do.
Yeah, but it's my job and
But
I love
you're
it.
up to the task.
Yeah, I love it.
As a parting shot, what do you say in a sentence or two to all the young people who have high expectations in this government? And you know, that life is hard right now. They're feeling this thing is not happening quickly enough. We are waiting and this and this. What's your parting shot to them this evening?
This evening, Levy, allow me to tell the youth of this country and every other person in this country, of course, that of course everyone understands and everyone knows that they are very hard economic times, but it's no excuse for us to give up. I want to ask that we go out there and we give our all. Things will be all right in terms of our economically, but you see, Levy, for things to be all right economically, you have to really work hard. You have to ensure that whatever you find your hands on to do, you do it to the best of your knowledge, and let's try to be self-reliant in regards to many things economically and even in terms of education. For those who are in school, I want to ask that you do your best while in school, and for the parents and the people, the grown-ups, let us actually work harder. I know it's not easy, and actually saying work harder, someone is looking at me and saying, what did you just say? You used to say work harder. But you see, that is what we have to do, so that it's a collective responsibility. It is not a responsibility entirely of the government, but it is our responsibility, all of us, to ensure that ends meet and our children are in school, to ensure that we are able to meet the needs that we have, and so that we are not just hoping for better times, but there are plans in this government to ensure that the economic times will be better in a few months. It cannot be done in a day or two, but it will eventually be done. We are just ensuring that everything that is possible and that is doable is done, so that we are able to ease the economic burden of the people of Kenya.
Thank you very much. Honorable Cynthia Muge, Women Rep, Nandi County. It's been a pleasure speaking to you.
The pleasure is mine.
And all the best out there.
Asante.
That's the opinion box for tonight. God bless you. Good night. See you next week.